Actually, I'm a attorney at law, and I am from the jurisdiction of Dominica. Previously, my first profession was a banker before I embarked on reading law. We have been authorized, even if we practice law in Dominica, we are authorized agents for the processing of Dominica Citizenship by Investment Program, and my law firm is Caribbean Commission IP law practitioners. We are headquarters in Dominica. Now, you may have known there are a number of countries in the Caribbean, towards the northwest of the United States, that have this program. You are starting with St. Kitts, Davis in the north, then you move to Antigua, Dominica is in the middle, then you have St. Lucia, and last one, you have Grenada. Dominica, if you doesn't know, Dominica is sandwiched between the two French departments of Guadeloupe and Martinique. So if you're in Dominica, within 15 minutes from Dominica, you can be in France because they are French colonies. And we also, because of the influence of the French, we also speak the French Creole. Many of you would have been already familiar with these programs. We call it the Caribbean 5. And actually, there is no much difference between those programs. What I say so is because the 5 countries, we share the same Isidore. We have our own Eastern Caribbean currency. We are pegged to the United States dollar. So, and our currency exchange is 2.7, like the US to the AED. The dirham is 3.67, we are 2.7. We are stable, so there's no fluctuation. If I was born, I might have 2.7, it has been so. So only if the US dollar fluctuates, then our dollar fluctuates. We have our own central bank, Eastern Caribbean Central Bank, and all 5 Caribbean countries share their own central bank. All 5 Caribbean countries speak English. They were all British colonies, and that's why they are able to enter in the Commonwealth nations without a visa. So for St. Kitts, it's the same. Dominica, Grenada, and St. Lucia, the same. We all have the same system of government. We are all parliamentary democratic. The Westminster system of government, we go to election every 5 years, and we elect our government. So principally, the countries are almost the same. They can go to almost the countries the same, but they have very differences. You will likely that Dominica now get visa-free entrance to China. Grenada may have had it before, and the other countries don't have it. So let's see, there's one advantage that Dominica has already. Then there are some countries that there's no visitation requirements. You don't have to visit. You don't have to have this residency requirements. You don't have to be there. There are 1 or 2 countries, like in Grenada, you may have to travel, take the oath, and you may have to spend 5 days there every 5 years. So in Dominica, and the others may not have that requirement, so that might be a little advantage for Dominica over the others. With respect to the period of time, most of them is 3 to 4 months. Dominica is 3 months. Grenada takes about 4 months. St. Kitts is about the same 3 months. Antigua is about 3 months as well. With respect to the minimum requirements, in terms of the contribution, you have 2 options, as you know, familiar with already. You have the real estate contribution, starts at 200,000. You also have the donation for single persons at 100,000. Most of the countries, donations are at 100,000. Some of them have 250,000, like Grenada. Some of them have 200,000, like Dominica, St. Kitts, and St. Lucia. So these are from your familiarities and slight differences. With respect to when it comes to the processing time, there is what you may want to say an expedited service. So you pay an additional sum, in Dominica you pay 1,200 for expedited service to shorten the form, the period from 3 months maybe to 2 months, or maybe to 1.5 months, 6 weeks. Whereas if you do the short form service in St. Kitts, you might have to pay some $25,000, $20,000 to $25,000 extra. Dominica only is only $1,200. So that's one of the advantages that Dominica have over its sister brothers and sisters. Okay, so and with respect to, they talk about E2 visa, Grenada has that option That's the only option the Caribbean 5 that have, but when it comes to the E2 visa, there's also the requirement, it's just applying like for EB5. You have to show that you're going to make some investment in the US. There is that project already, it is available, and you are qualified, you have the requirements, you also have to go through the serious due diligence, source of funds declaration, and so on and so on for the E2 visa. So that's one of the advantages Grenada will have over Dominica. But you see, what persons are intrinsically Caribbean 5 for? Majority of individuals is not really for migration, but for global mobility. The ability as a businessman, he is into business, he is trading, something comes up last night or yesterday afternoon, and he wants to make a quick visit to China. He is from Nigeria, he is from Pakistan, he is from Iran, he is from Iraq, and he wants to travel. He doesn't have to apply 3 months in advance, 6 months in advance, 4 weeks waiting, and so much documentation. All he does, he go online, he book his flight, and he goes to China. People don't make a passport. He does the same thing for the UK, he does the same thing for Norway, Holland, any of the Schengen countries. Over 150 something countries, visa free. That's the advantage. Now the next advantage that Dominica has over many of the others is that Dominica passport has been tested by all immigration gates in the world. It has been the longest after St. Kitts since 1993. So persons who received passport in 1993 have changed their passport over 4 or 5 times. And all immigration departments over the world knows Dominica in that program. It is not a new entrant. So you have St. Lucia, about 5 years now, Grenada, about 4 or 5 years now, and Grenada, St. Lucia, yes, these are recent, and Antigua recent, but Dominica and St. Kitts has been there, it has been tried, they have been tested. And you know that, because if you have a company and you walk into a bank and you want to open a bank account, the bank officer is going to look to see how long you have been in business. If your company is 10 years old in business, you are more trusted than a company who's just opened business for 2 years or 1 year. And that's one of the advantages the Dominica program has. So with this, our booth is just on the outside. Will not take much of your time to go. There are many more speakers. If you want any additional information, you go to check with us on the outside. Now we process all Caribbean 5, even if you are headquarters in Dominica. Because from one country to the other, just by flight, about 20 minutes, 45 minutes, 45 minutes. As I say, we share the laws of Dominica, laws of Grenada, laws of St. Kitts. They are almost the same. They are the same because it's the same system, the same common law that we inherited from Britain. We just have some changes in our parliamentary laws. Now we look again to support that. I am a lawyer, practicing Dominica, called to the Binding Bar Dominica, practicing for about 18 years now. I can just next day go into Antigua, St. John's and practice. I can go into Castries, St. Lucia and practice. Go in St. George's, Grenada and pass it, and then next day Bastille, St. Kitts to practice. Because we have one Eastern Caribbean court. That Eastern Caribbean court is ambulatory, it sits in each of the countries and determines the dispute between litigants. One judgment is given, we have the same court of appeal, and our final court, some have accepted and moved from the Privy Council, and others still have the Privy Council as their final court. So, as I always say to people, there is not much difference between the Caribbean 5. The differences you have to look at is in the speed, is in the longevity, the number of countries you can go to, and the cost. So, if you are a businessman, you don't want to live in Europe, you're doing very well in Tehran, you're doing very well in Baghdad, Iraq, you're doing very well in Kabul, Afghanistan. And all you want to do is to be able to do business, to travel, to go on vacation. You don't have to go and burden yourself or your clients with 500,000 euro and waiting for 5 years for citizenship, or 350,000 euro and waiting for 4 years, or going to learn a different language. Just apply, get your citizenship within 3 months, and you are able to travel to any of the Schengen countries, go and do business, go and do vacation, and come back. And that's what you have to say and tell your clients. I know you want big time citizenship, but what do you want it for? You're not moving, you want to do business. Why burden yourself with such a big cost when you can get that very same privilege that you want from any one of the Caribbean 5? Much cheaper, less expensive, some good parliamentary system, democratic, stable political environment, and get a passport that gives you no problem and hindrances, and you move on. Any one of you interested in Dominica, we are there. There's also our counsel who is at the back listening to me. You could also speak with him about Dominica and be a Dominican, get your passport, get it for your clients, global mobility, safety, assuredness. I thank you.